Okay, perfect. It worked.
Woo.
So we are now recording. And you say it's Stegmann? Stegmann?
Yes. Yep.
Alrighty. Okay. So like I said, I am just gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you?
Okay.
What should your readers know? Just a brief introduction before we really dive into stuff.
All right. So I am Jennifer Stegmann. I am a full-time worker outside of being an author. I work at an Aldi supermarket. I have been married for about 16 years, and I have a 5-year-old daughter who is currently outside the bathroom here. um, Aside from writing, the hobbies I have, I like to spend time with my daughter, play video games with her, like Animal Crossing, Dreamlight Valley, even her little hamster game that we have on the Switch here, and even like Hello Kitty Island Adventure, the new game that I just got for her for Valentine's Day. Aside from that, when I'm not writing or playing games, I'm usually just scrolling TikTok on my phone, doom scrolling, as they call it. But most of the time, you can find me just on my tablet with my little Bluetooth keyboard, writing my book.
That's awesome. Yeah, TikTok has destroyed any productivity I have at the moment. So
Same with Threads. I'm always on Threads, just constantly posting on there too.
Threads is such an interesting platform because I've never had such a response to what I post. Like I'm getting so much more of a response than any other social media platform. So
Right.
I think it's a blessing for authors because it is like everybody is there and they are lifting each other up. Then like some of the groups
Yes.
I've seen on like Facebook where they tend to like people like tear them down if they're not at the quality they want.
Yeah, and like I've had more ARC readers come and sign up for my ARC, even if they haven't read the book I'm doing an ARC for yet, but they still come through and sign up. Whereas on my Facebook groups that I'm in for that, crickets.
Right. It's a blessing and it's bizarre to me because I know Threads is connected to Facebook, but you know, if it works, it works. Alrighty, so you kind of talked about how much you write, but how much do you read?
I don't read nearly as much as I write. Like, I think the last time I read profusely and like could not put the book down was when I was in high school reading Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series. So I think that was the last time that I could not put a book down. I just had to keep going.
So do you think that in order to be a good writer, you have to be like an avid reader?
I think it helps with creativity and like world building in a way, because then you're seeing how they're doing it and then you want to take that and put it into your own perspective. You don't exactly want to like copy how they do it, but you want to do it in your own way and just kind of use how they did it as an example.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's also the whole concept of like what makes you a better reader and what makes you a better writer is literally just continuing to do it.
Yes.
So continuing on the vein of reading, is there a particular book or author that inspired you to want to tell your own story?
Tolkien, for sure, because when I not only read his books, but also watched the movies, I instantly fell in love with the elves in his world. And I just felt like I was connected to that world. And ever since then, I've just been obsessed with elves and anything fantastical. So I kind of put that into my own writing.
Yeah. So right, okay. I'm trying to phrase this in a way that makes sense to me in my mind. So you say you haven't profusely read since high school. Are you still continuing to read even if it's a little bit at a time, or do you just not have time to actually sit down and read? Because I know that's my issue right now is finding time to actually be able to sit down and
I
focus.
kind of have the same issue, but I have recently read some books, but they've only been my sister's series,
Hmm.
which they are still really good. It's just like in between my own writing, being with my family, working, I kind of have to find the time to be able to read, which right now, with same with the writing, is when my daughter's at school on my days off. So
Yeah, adulting is it's hard to get into those hobbies. Like you, I profusely read in high school. Like I would that was my thing is I was a reader, that's all I would do. And then as I got older, I'm like, I do not read nearly as much as I did
nope.
before. It bothers me a little bit
Yeah.
because my husband's like, "Are you like you keep telling me how much you love books, but I never see you read." I'm like, "Look,
You're like,
I'm trying.
we have two kids. Like, where do you expect me to find the time?
We're busy."
Yeah.
So, and then talking about mentioning your sister's books, and then talking about because the book you're writing right now, you're finishing up right now. Is that the one that you wrote
Yes.
with her?
That's the one I've been working on for the last several months.
So, how has it been working with someone on that book?
It's been pretty good, especially since my sister and we are like this. Like, we have an
Mhm.
inseparable bond and have had one since we were really young. And it was actually her idea to do the artwork for my books. And she not only helps me with artwork, she also kind of helps write some of the scenes for my books. Like the second book that I wrote in my series, we were trading off. Like I would write one part of it, and then I would send it off to her, and she would do her work and write her part, and then we also edited it together. And it's been a lot of fun working with her on my books. And well, now I can say our books because her name's also on it. So um, I've enjoyed working with her, and I'm pretty sure she's also enjoyed working with me. I also like to, bounce ideas off of her for the books. Like, so what should we do for this part? She'll tell me and I'll write it down, like brainstorm out that next part. And then next writing day, I'll write that in. So,
Awesome. So yeah, I have always wanted to write a book with someone, but I don't know how you would come up with a balance between everything. But I also
yeah.
don't have like a sister who writes and wants to have that. Um, about this book. Tell us about the genre. What is it about? Why should we look at it? Look for it.
Well, the current book I'm writing, it's called The Awakening Across the Universe, book 3 to my series called the Starpath Saga. And by the title of the series, kind of gives it away that it's sci-fi fantasy.
Mhm.
It's sci-fi elements with like also with some fantasy elements, more sci-fi because it takes place in a different galaxy on a different planet. And then fantasy because there's like magic and elves and dragons and all kinds of fantastical elements in there. And I think, like, for anyone who likes all types of genres or sci-fi or fantasy or the two blended together, I think, they would enjoy this book and this series because it's kind of like my own take on Star Wars, but way different.
Star Wars is definitely a big one to live up to.
It
Um,
was it was part of my inspiration for this series, so
you just named like my two favorite series, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Star Wars.
We're good. Okay, so tell me about your writing process. Like, are you a pantser or a plotter? What is the process like for you specifically?
I think I fit more in the plotter area because I like to think of a plot and then try to like come up with like a story for it. Because being a pantser, like I can see why some people write like that. But for me, I enjoy writing plots and writing like, leading up to it.
Mm.
This most recent plot point that I actually just wrote, I was trying to like hold off writing it until closer to release date for my new book, but I was like, there's so much filler coming out of my ears, I might as well just get to it. So yeah, I enjoy plotting more than I do being a pantser. So it's just more fun coming up with like plot points and writing scenes and stuff to like get to that point.
Yeah. So when we think about like writing routines, do you have a specific time and place where you write, or you just do it when you can? What does that look like
Um,
for you?
Specifically on my days off while my daughter's at school, early morning, like right after dropping her off. Because if my husband's asleep when I get home after dropping her off, I like to sit at his computer table with my tablet and my keyboard right in front of me, my book opened up, and my earbuds in with some music playing so I can just get lost in my little world while I'm writing. Otherwise, like right now, my car's broke down, so we've been
Oh,
having to share one car lately, which is hard. But
mm,
he'll be awake when we get home, and I'll tell him, look, I need like an hour or two just so I can write my book for a little bit, and then he'll let me write. He'll just go sit at his computer, and I'll sit on the bed with my tablet in my lap, keyboard, earbuds in, and I'll just get to writing. So
mm.
it's usually early mornings on my days off for about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how long the muse wants to go for.
That's always the problem. So, okay, so thinking about that, how do you ever face like writer's block, and how do you get over that?
I actually haven't actually hit writer's block with this book. I
Oh,
almost got to it. Like I almost got writer's block, and then that's when I was like, no, before I do, let me just step back. And then I took a look at my first book, The Princess of Lunastra, and was like, I kind of need to polish this one up a bit. So I took a bit of a break from writing the current book to rewrite The Princess of Lunastra and worked on that for like the last month and a half and re-released it. And then when I got back to the third book that I'm working on now, the muse was refreshed and good to go. So I was able
perfect.
to just get back to it.
That's awesome. So how do you go about like editing your book?
Um, right now I've taken the edit as you go approach
Mm,
because that for me, that's been making the editing process a little easier for when it's time to do final round of edits. So all I have to do is like just make some minor touch ups and
mm,
polish it up a little bit. Like today, I was actually just going through and editing what I have so far before I end it. And I'm still not even halfway through editing it, but just going through and editing it today, I was still changing things up and polishing it up and, you know, making some touch ups. And so, yeah, this week when I get back to writing it, it's probably going to be the last two chapters because big plot points already been done. That's over with. Now it's time to just wind it down to the end and then get to the final editing and then off to ARC readers.
perfect. Um, so one of my favorite thing to talk to authors about is how they come up with their characters. So how do
Oh,
you go about creating your characters? I know there's so many resources. There's like checklists you can follow through with. There's so many different things you can do. So how do you go about creating your characters, making sure they seem authentic and keeping consistent with them?
I actually have a fun little backstory as to how I came up with this entire series, in fact. Um, Back in 2021, I believe it was, myself and a TikTok bestie of mine, we were talking on Discord, and I came up with an idea for us to write a book together. And they were like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd find the time to do it, but yeah, I'd totally be down for it. So as far as that idea went, was we both came up with our characters, the backstory for our characters, and that was it. life got in the way. Our book together never got off the ground, but instead of just letting it sit there on my end, like just shelved, I just took my character, her backstory, kind of just went with it, made her own first book with it, and then ideas for the other two books came along. And I just kind of made sure she was more authentic as I was writing the story because for me, the characters tell me their story.
Oh yeah.
So I just write what they tell me. And throughout the last several years of like polishing this idea and getting these books out, I feel like I've got her story set in stone with the third and final release of The Princess of Lunastra. So that's pretty much how I came up with her and how the series came up.
So how do you come up with the character names? Do they have
I
special meanings or just
completely
like I like the same?
I completely make them up. Apparently, my mom was looking into my main character's name, Esmeralda, and she found that that's actually a Turkish name. And I was like, well, I had no idea. I just completely made it up.
Cool.
The others,
Um,
like her lover in this series, his name I just completely made up. Kind of took Gaston from Beauty and the Beast and put Li at the end, but spelled it a little different. So
nice. Um, so if you're on TikTok, then you definitely have seen book recommendations on how a lot of people are relying on tropes to sell their books. Do you use any specific tropes in your books or
I do, yes. In fact, I can pull up my trope covers, as I call them.
Mhm.
Um, Let me find them here on my tablet. All right. So there's what my tropes are for The Awakening.
Yeah. Cool.
And I completely make these myself. So,
Oh no, it's done well. I like it a lot.
yeah, that's just for that one. I do have one for books 1 and 2 as well.
Mhm.
Um, Here's book 1's.
That's so cute.
That's the new version that I have that I have put on there.
Mhm.
And then I wonder if I have book 2's on here. I probably do. Um, Let me see. Oh, yep, there it is. And there's that one.
Nice.
And then you've probably seen that all over threads when like everyone's saying, authors, indie authors, show me your books, show me your tropes. And I just go on threads and I post all that. And I'm like, if this sounds interesting to you, check it out.
Read it, please. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, no, I do like seeing how a lot of people are looking for like, hey, I want to read your book. So give them
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
It's
And I'm
again,
all over those.
threads is super cool because again, it's people supporting each other. Everything's been super positive, and I haven't found a negative thing on there yet. So it's been super
No.
cool. I do think there's a different, I don't know if it's a different generation or a different type of writer that's on threads versus like Facebook. I
Yeah.
just don't know what it is. Okay, so I think we went through all my questions. Um, so you're writing your third book in that series.
Hmm.
How many books are planned for that series? Or is the third one done?
As of right now, I've already got the fourth book, Brainstorm, started out. And
Mm-hmm.
then I haven't started writing it yet. And then I did have a prequel to the series, but as I was rewriting book 1, I kind of already told the character's backstory in like pretty much the first chapter. So I was like, I don't feel a prequel's necessary now because the only thing it would have covered is why her father disappeared. And I'm like, maybe I should just leave that as a mystery. So I just
Yeah.
scrapped the prequel. And then a couple weeks ago, I was on my way to work and an idea just popped up into my head. And I was like, that could be for the fifth book. So as of right now, 5 books are planned for this series.
And it may extend.
Yes, the more may pop up as I'm writing book 4, book 5. You never know.
It's a fun journey.
It is. And even a spin-off series came up for like for not for this series, but came up for a new character I came up with for this series, a spin-off series for her came up. So that's probably going to be started at like the end of this year.
Perfect. Awesome. So how do you, so I've seen your covers. Do you create those covers? Do you have someone create those covers for you?
Originally, I did have a friend that was making them for me for free. The Dark New World was one that was made for me, and so was The Awakening. That one was made for me. Those two I kept because my friend that made them, she's going through some stuff right now, and she didn't charge me for them, which was cool. I thought that was cool. But I kept them because I really liked them. Now, for The Princess of Lunastra, the third rewrite, I made that cover. And I also have made the cover already for the spin-off series of book 1 and the 4th book to this series. So, but
Awesome.
yeah, for now I'm like kind of reaching out and making my own covers, and that's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. What service do you use to make them?
I use what's called a designer book cover maker.
Nice. See, I'm a Canva girl myself.
I use Canva for making like my bookmarks that I have for this series and posters and stickers because I'm planning on putting together like little PR packages for physical signed copies that I send out.
Yeah.
So like right now, until my car's fixed, obviously I'm not going to be able to get that stuff together right now, but in the near future, once everything is said and done and life is done messing with me, I'll be able to like purchase some posters. My sister even designed the posters.
Anything else you think people should know about you or your books?
Just look out for book 3 if you're already a reader of mine. I plan on having it released by June 5th. Like I mentioned, right now I'm editing what I have so far. We'll be finishing it up within the next week. Then it's going out to my ARC readers. And then for the month of May, I'm going to have it set up for pre-order through Barnes and Noble. For I believe they do physical pre-orders there, and then Amazon I'll have the ebook set up for pre-order if I can. So I'll have it set up for pre-order on both places for a month, and then June 5th it will be fully released for anyone who wants to buy it.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I'm about to hit the end recording. But yeah, this has been a nice chat. I'm super excited for you, and I can't wait to see that third book come out.
I can't wait till it's out either, because I'm taking the summer off after it is.
Giving me that break time.
It'll just give me plenty of time to come up with more ideas and everything for book 4 and maybe even book 5, but one book at a time, brain.
Like, pause. Let me finish.
Right.